Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm making Scotch eggs.
So a Scotch egg is a hard-boiled egg inside a meat casing that's been fried. So the first thing we're going to need is hard-boiled eggs. So we're just going to get some salt water to the boil, and as many eggs as you're using, just going to prick a hole in the end of the egg. No matter how you're boiling eggs, whether you want them soft-boiled, hard-boiled or whatever, put a little pinhole into either end of the egg and it will stop the shell cracking when you immerse it like that straight into boiling water. These eggs we want hard boiled, so we're going to do them for 10 minutes. So you're just going to set a 10-minute timer, and after 10 minutes scoop out your eggs and plunge them straight into iced water. It's called shocking them. It stops the cooking process instantly, but it also makes sure that you don't get that weird black ring around the yolk. So let them sit for as long as you need until you're ready to use them. The longer you leave these, the better. It makes the shell a little easier to remove. But when removing the shell, just be careful and just take your time and just pick away at it. As and when you'll get lots of those little bits of shell sticking to your finger and sticking to the egg, just dunk it back in the water and it will all eventually just peel off. Some of these come off like in one go. Some take forever. You can't really explain why, but that's eggs for you. So there's your hard-boiled eggs. Like I say, they've had 10 minutes. Now we are going to be making the casing that we're going to put around them. So what we've got there is some parsley. We want to chop this really, really finely. So we're going to remove the stalks. Just like that. Those stalks are full of flavour and you'd use those in loads and loads of dishes. But for the purpose of this, we just want really finely chopped leaves. We don't want any crunchy bits or any bits of bite in there, so we're just going to remove those stalks, and now we're going to chop the parsley leaves really finely. And the way we always do this, as you know, is just we work left and right, bringing anything back to the middle again, scraping any bits off the knife and just going back and forth. So that's our parsley chopped nice and fine. We're also going to use some chives. Any herbs are fine in this. It's exactly what you like. This is just what I happen to have there, so I know that they'll go really, really well. When chopping chives, first thing I'll normally do is bunch them together, lay them down on the side and then chop into them, but we want these kind of a little bit finer diced, so we do that original chop and then the standard technique of going back and forth, left and right, and we're just going to get a nicely finely chopped chive. Whilst I'm doing that, if you like my videos, please hit like. If you're not subscribed, if you could hit subscribe, it's free for you but amazing for me, so really appreciate it if you choose to do that. Some sausages, decent ones from the butchers. First thing we're going to do is just remove the meat from the skin, and you can do that. That's as easy as literally just squeezing them and pushing it out, and then you'll be left with that, which is the skin of the sausage. And in that bowl, we're just going to have the meat of the sausage. These are just normal pork sausages. In with a little bit of Dijjon mustard and a tiny bit of whole grain mustard. Any mustard is going to be absolutely fine here. You can be totally loose with any of these ingredients. In goes the parsley and the chives, and we'll give that all a good mix. As long as you've got that main bit, the sausage, then anything else here is pretty much secondary, and it's entirely up to you what you choose to add to this mixture. So that's the sausage mix mixed. We want that to firm up ever so slightly, so I put a seal on it and then put it in the fridge. Right, we're now going to prepare our breading station. They are golden breadcrumbs, cheap golden breadcrumbs. Don't bother with any panko or anything fancy. Use the cheap stuff. We're going to make a seasoned flour, so we just put some plain flour in there. Use some paprika, some white pepper, a little bit of salt, and some black pepper. All that's needed in a seasoned flour is salt and pepper. I always add paprika and white pepper. It's just the way I've always done it. I think can't say what it brings to the dish. I mean, it doesn't bring colour or anything else like that, but there's a certain taste in the background that I think comes from the white pepper. So that's what I choose to do. We're going to also make an egg wash as well. So we're just going to get a couple of eggs in there and give them a really good blitz. This is better than mixing them with a fork because your eggs become much more liquid, and when you're making a breading station, that's exactly what you want. So we've now got our eggs. So here we go. We're going to take one of the hard-boiled eggs, some of the now cooled sausage meat. Press the sausage meat out just in your hand, nice and thin, before it starts to crack, before you get any splits in it. So as thin as you can push it in your hand. And now you're just going to put the egg in the middle, wrap that around. What you're going to need is more to fill in those gaps. So just put what you can, wrap it around as much as possible. And then where you'll see those gaps, it's now time to make further thin bits of sausage. Just like that, and then adding it to the egg. So you're just going to case it perfectly in the sausage meat. You can always add more, and it doesn't need to be pretty at this point, although it will all seal up nicely. By pushing the sausage meat together, you find it all seals in correctly. You're not going to have any gaps in there. So once you've done that, you've got the egg encased in the sausage mixture. We're now going to rub that in the seasoned flour. From the seasoned flour, we want to put that into the egg wash. And then from the egg wash, straight into the cheap golden breadcrumbs. Get the whole thing covered. As many as you're going to do, prepare them just like that at this stage before we go to frying. So I'm only doing 2 here. So once we've got that one done, I'll do another one, and then we'll fry them both together. So you can see, there we go. That's sat there ready to go. Into a fryer. This fryer's at 160 degrees. If you haven't got a fryer with a thermometer, you want to just use a pan with oil. Usually a ground nut oil or rapeseed oil, and then you want to do it so that you can drop a piece of bread in there, and the bread stays in there for 20 seconds without going dark. So it just will fizz, but it won't go dark. This is now sped up. We're probably going to fry these for around about 10 to 12 minutes. The sausage meat's got to cook. Obviously we don't want it to happen too quickly because then the outside will burn. But you see, I'm just moving it around slightly just to make sure they're not sticking to the edges. As I say, that's probably had around about 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. We're going to drain them on a tea towel. And then you can let them cool completely, and you would normally serve them in a lunchbox. You wouldn't normally slice them open like this or serve them on a plate. This is purely so you can see exactly what's inside. So you can see that's a beautiful, beautiful hard-boiled egg. No weird black ring around the yolk. You can see all that sausage meat is cooked, but there's not too much of it. Sometimes when people make Scotch eggs, they make loads and loads of that meat around it. It's almost very difficult to eat. Put some salt and pepper on the yolk. This type of brown sauce, I'm telling you, if you see that brown sauce in your supermarket, it's worth the extra 50p. It's the nicest brown sauce in the world. It goes fantastically with this dish. That's it. That's a Scotch egg. It's a classic. You can customize it a million different ways, exactly how you like it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every single viewer, and I'll see you on the next one.